we are having to brief us all on academic audit processes. So sir would be taking this session as an online session, and then one physical session would be there in the second stage. So I really thank Jayraj sir for sparing his valuable time and being with us. Sir, today all the members of academic audit and all head of institutions have joined for this meeting.
Okay.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon. A warm welcome to all of you for this interactive session on quality assurance system and academic administrative audit. As you are aware, the importance of the academic administrative audit has become a very important component, milestone in the assessment process, as it has got both the components, namely the internal and the external component. It also acts as a checks and balance. It also acts as a means of midterm corrections whenever we require. And whenever there is a need for us to ensure. Okay, right. Okay, right. Okay. So whenever there is a need for us to go for midterm corrections, these internal and external audits play a very important role in quality assurance. So today, as an integrated component, I would like to.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
I am good, sir. How are you?
In advance, congratulations to the DPO Unitech Society team for the successful visit of the Karnataka, Maharashtra State Legislature team for granting the private university status. I wish you all the best in advance. I look forward for the establishment of this university during 2024-25. And with these few words, I would like to take you for the next 1 hour. I would like to give brief introduction towards the importance of academic administrative audit in quality assurance system. Next slide. As you are aware, whenever we think of quality, we have these important concepts. The first one is the quality initiative. I request all the participants who are joined here to understand these terminologies in a perfect manner, so that they will be able to decipher and ultimately ensure as to what exactly you are doing and why you are doing it and what is its importance. First one is initiative. What actually means
request you to please switch off your mics. Someone is, it's disturbing.
So we request all the other participants to mute.
We have muted it on our end now. Sir, unable to hear you.
मैडम सर का भी म्यूट हो गया है.
सर भी म्यूट हो गया ना.
Ravi?
Sir, you need to unmute yourself.
I'll unmute.
Yes.
Yeah. So first of all of us should know actually what we mean by initiative. We always call anything related to quality as initiative. Actually, it's not a correct concept. What we mean by quality initiative is whenever we think of doing something new as a novelty, which you have seen somewhere else, which is there in any standard institution, either at a national level or a regional level or a global level, and you want to introduce that particular system or process or any other initiative at our institution, it becomes quality initiative. So when we want to introduce any quality, it requires an important component called need-based study or gap analysis as to why we require that initiative in our college or an institution. And without that, can't we do without that? Or if it is required, in what way it's going to be helpful? Is it feasible? Is it affordable? I'll give you examples as when I move through it. So that is called quality initiative. The second important component of quality assurance is quality enhancement and enrichment. The institution already has certain systems and processes, and these systems and processes, no doubt they are very good, but we can enhance them depending upon the need, depending upon the current trends and relevances and recent advances. We call them as quality enhancement and enrichment. When we say quality enhancement and enrichment, we mean that they were already there with us for a long time, and they are time tested, they are very good for the institution, but you are not keeping them as obsolete, but you are going to upgrade it as and when you require from the point of relevance, recent advances, and so on. We call it as quality enhancement and enrichment. There are certain systems and processes which are time tested. They have to be continued in the institution, either systems or processes, and for that there is no for anything new. There are time tested. They are time tested systems. We call it as we have to continue them without undergoing any deterioration. We call them as quality sustenance. Then, in order to ensure that the initiatives that we have introduced for quality is relevant as per the recent advances, as per the requirement of the institution. Enhancement and enrichment is also as per relevance and recent advances. Sustenance also is a must. Suppose if the system and process is obsolete, you have to remove it. So obsolescence is also a concept of quality. Removal of obsolescence and moderation. Like quick moderate process of ACT. So sustenance you have to find out. Then, in order to ensure that you have got good initiatives, enhancement, enrichment, and sustenance, you have to go for assurance. At this level of assurance, there are good number of internal and external mechanisms. That is academic administrative audit, external AAA, ranking process, as well as accreditation process, either NAC or NBA. So NBA accreditation, NAC accreditation, NRF ranking, QS ranking, or Times Higher Education ranking, or any other media ranking, etc., come under quality assurance. When you have got very systematic flowchart as well as systems and processes to ensure initiatives, enrichment, enhancement, sustenance, and assurance, we call it as quality culture in an institution. So the first and the foremost thing that is required for an institution to ensure that it is a quality institution is quality culture. When we say quality culture, we mean the following: that every individual, every department, every institution, and all the staff members and the faculty are ensuring quality. That is called quality culture. It is not touch and go, or it is not hit and run, or it is not a few doing it and few not doing it. When we identify and institutionalize it, then we call it as quality culture. In other words, it should become a regular practice of the institution. We call it as quality culture. Next slide. So in order to ensure quality initiative, quality sustenance, quality enhancement or enrichment, as well as quality assurance, the important component is called benchmarking. And this benchmarking is not static, and it is dynamic. In other words, this benchmarking keeps on changing depending upon the time. Over the period of time, what was benchmarking about 10 years back or 5 years back may not be relevant today. Hence, benchmarking is always a dynamic process. And how do you go for benchmarking? And this benchmarking is a very, very important quality tool. And the benchmarking is internal. For example, in an institution, there are 10 departments. One department is doing excellent in every respect. We consider that particular department as a benchmark, and we request others to follow that, emulate it. Or if there are 10 departments, of them 5 are good, but not in all, but in each one in one component or the other. For example, Department A is very good for curriculum. It is benchmark for curriculum. But Department B is good for research. That is benchmark for research. Department C is very good for industry institution interface. So we benchmark it for the institution industry interface. Well, Department 4 or D is very good for student support. We benchmark it for that particular component. In other words, we ourselves, based on our internal audit, external audit, and ranking, and various other processes, find out which department is doing very well. We call it as internal benchmarking. When it comes to the institution, it is the departments. Suppose if it is a faculty, if it is HR, then we can identify few people who faculty who excelled in this particular field as benchmarks. For example, amongst all the 50 to 100 staff members, around there are 5 staff members who excelled in curriculum design and development. That means they become the benchmark at what they have done, become benchmark for curriculum design and development. And there are 2-3 teachers they are known for excellent innovative teaching practices. We call them as the benchmark for that teaching learning processes. They become ultimately the mentors to teach others, to ultimately train others in this particular process. Similarly, when you go for the external benchmarking, for example, we want to grow, and in which direction we should grow, we don't know. So we call it as role modeling. So we identify any good practice in our neighborhood. For example, I will give, if there is a management college and the management college wants to grow. So amongst the private management colleges, a college which is known globally will be taken as a standard. We consider that particular institution as a benchmark, and we study that particular institution at how it has excelled, how it has become a center of excellence globally. And then we try to find out what is there with them and what is not with them. We call it as external benchmarking. For example, BITS, the Birla Institute of Technology, Pilani, or BITS institutes. They are very good as far as technical education is concerned when compared to many other institutions, many other autonomous bodies. So let me say consider BITS Institute BITS Pilani as a benchmark for a management study or engineering college. Similarly, if you want to take one particular department, say computer science department, IIT Madras, Department of Computer Science and Data Management could be taken as a benchmark. Similarly, if you are going, in other words, you have to choose one particular benchmark either at the institution level or at the department level or at the individual level. We call it external benchmarking. Usually, without external benchmarking, it's very difficult for us to grow. We have to take someone as a role model. For example, for medical colleges and medical universities, we take MAHE, that is Manipal Academy of Higher Education, as a model. For simple reason that they are in the field for the last 50 years, and it is a deemed university, and they are one of the private institution which is within 30 centers of government of India. There are institutions of eminence, 30 institutions of eminence in government as per the list of government of India. In that, one of the private deemed universities that is present there is MAHE. So we would like to study as to how MAHE has become a center of excellence, center of global excellence, center of national eminence, and what makes it iconic. So we call it as the external benchmarking. It could be for curriculum, it could be for research, it could be for extension, it could be for student support, it could be for the collaborations, consultancy, and whatnot. So this is how external benchmarking plays a very, very important role. So we may take one institution, or we may take 2, 3 institutions also as benchmarking. Again, studying at which is better. Let me tell you now, in case of medical institutions, now earlier you used to take only Mahe. Of late, you have started taking Amrita institution also as one of the iconic centers. When it comes to engineering, we always take IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras as top. When it comes to basic research, we take University of Bangalore as an iconic center. Now, people may say, sir, they're all of global importance. It's very difficult to match them. Then you take an institution which is 1 or 2 notch lower than IIT or IAC Bangalore. Any institution which is on par with you, but they have excelled in your particular field. So such institutions can be gone for external benchmarking. First, I told you internal benchmarking. Second is called external benchmarking. In that again, you can take the top global level, top national level, or top state level institutions for benchmarking. The advantage of benchmarking is you have got a ready-made study, case study, wherein the institution is excelled by using the same curriculum and MHRD or ACT, but they have excelled. So in what way they have excelled? What makes them a unique institution? If a college team studies it, definitely will be able to go for a benchmark. This is the advantage of benchmarking. And benchmarking is a must for an institution if they want to excel. Otherwise, it becomes a routine practice of whatever is happening will be recorded, and whatever grade you get the grade. You will not grow. You will not develop. You just complete one particular year and move to the second year. So benchmarking is a very, very important quality tool before going for the assessment and accreditation, before going for futuristic growth and development. For example, now a DPU Unitech Society is trying to formulate a university. If they want to develop a university, they should have one benchmark. Should you grow just like MIT? Should you grow just like DPU? Should you grow just like Amity? Should you grow just like any other excellent university, which is the first 10 of NRF ranking? So here, NAC ranking, NAC grading institutions as your benchmark, which is nearer to you. So that's how it's going to help you to know where you stand, where you should reach. That means you are going for a realistic benchmarking. For example, in our vision statement, we say to be an institution of global eminence, importance. It is an ideal situation. But without knowing which route you should go, in which direction you should go, in what pace you should develop, you will not be able to reach that particular target. Hence, we call it as benchmark. So the first and the foremost thing for any institution is a benchmark. When you know that I have to excel equal to that particular institution, pharmacy. Say there are about 250 colleges in pharmacy. You find out which are the best 10, and you find out the one which is more nearer to you, not from the point of distance, from the point of development. So they are also same and you are also same, but they have excelled, but you are not excelled. Then you take that institution as a benchmark. So the first exercise which I am giving today to all those who are participating here is identify the benchmarking institutions. The first exercise is identify the benchmarks. First is internal. Within your college, which is the department which is doing exceedingly well? Which are the departments that are doing exceedingly well, at least in one area? Whole department may not be good in everything, but every department may be good in something. So identify that as a benchmark. So one is the internal benchmark, completely within a week. Second one is external benchmark, completely within a week. That will give an idea as to which direction you should go and why you should go and how you should go. Because you already got a role model, you have already got a success story. You need not experiment, you need not reinvent wheel. That is the reason why benchmarking becomes a very, very important component. Benchmarking is the basis for goal setting of the institution. So the next step is when once you go for benchmark, study those institutions, study those departments, study those HR, study the success story of those individuals. What makes them an excellent and an exemplary institution? List them out. Then it will be easy for you to go for goal setting. So the first exercise is benchmarking. The second exercise is goal setting. So I request you people to work out this at internal level within 7 days to 10 days. Goal setting. For first is benchmarking. Second one is goal setting. Next. Sometimes for benchmarking, certain national or global benchmarks are available. For example, for any institution in India which are already going for NRF ranking, some benchmarks are given which is mandatory or minimum. And if you achieve that and go above that, you are becoming an excellent institution. So I'm giving an example of NRF benchmark. What does the NRF benchmark say? For example, student strength based on the 10%. So 10% enrollment. Then faculty student ratio. NRF says if it is an ACT institution, it should be 1:15. So what should be your benchmark? Your HR policy should aim at achieving the benchmark of 1:15. Then third benchmark, faculty percent with PhD. So amongst the faculty, you should achieve more than 95% of the faculty with PhD. So that should be your benchmark for faculty. Look at it, so easy. It's already these benchmarks are available. If an institution has got faculty student ratio of 1:15 and faculty strength with 95, more than 95% with PhD and higher qualification, it's called as a very good HR, and a very good teacher student ratio and quality of teachers is very good. Then again, faculty with experience. NRF already has given a benchmark. What is that benchmark? We should have a blend of three types of faculty. What are they? One is faculty with less than 8 years, faculty above 18 and 15, and third one is above 50. Your trend, you should be 1:1:1. If all are old only, then it is not good. If all are young only, then also is not good. If all are medium type, then also is not good. You should have a blend of those who are young, those who are very experienced, the one who are having middle experience. It need not be exactly 1:1:1, but should aim at that particular component. That indicates avoiding generation gap. It indicates the homogeneity as far as the faculty member is concerned. This is NIH benchmark. It's not given by me. Similarly, financial resources utilization. Usually, financial resource utilization, you should come to around 20% of your expenditure. Suppose if your income is 100 rupees, expenditure is 100 rupees. In that 100 rupees, minimum 20% must be utilized for this particular account. 20 to 30% to be utilized for this particular purpose. And if it's only 5% and all, again, you should ensure that it goes up to that particular mark. This is again a benchmark. Then publication for faculty. Now the present benchmark is 1:1. Every faculty must should publish at least one index paper in either Scopus or Web of Science or in PubMed or any other, not in Google Scholar or me. It should be a indexed publication 1:1 or UGC here at least. Then bibliometrics. What do you mean by bibliometrics? The publication button should have good citation index, good impact factor, good Scopus citation, which H index. A day will come wherein every teacher will be identified by their IP as well as H index. They become iconic. They become the benchmark for a faculty to be selected. Similarly, patents should be published. Recently, I was reading one advertisement of a private university. They say minimum 500 patents per year. You may ask what is the utility of it. But what is important is they are encouraging people to go for patents. When you publish and get it granted, at least 10 of them may go for startup. Today, era is particularly startup era. And India is encouraging the startup. So naturally, patents published and granted become very, very important. That also becomes the benchmark. Research fund generated. For example, Dr. Jayraj has generated 1 crore. Dr. Meghna Madam has generated 50 lakhs. XYZ has not generated anything. What does it mean? Even if you take average of it, at least we can fix an average. The entire institution, if there are 50 staff members, at least 1 lakh per year one should generate. At least 50 lakhs should be the benchmark. That makes an individual to try to generate the resource. We call it as benchmark. Next slide. Similarly, use the results. You should always try to get more than 95% results. If you are only 85, that means we should find out why the results are 85. Why can't we go for 95? Extra coaching, extra preparations, identifying the slow learners. So these are the strategies ultimately you have to go. In other words, benchmark will help you to go for strategies for achieving the benchmark. So the advantage of a benchmark is strategies to achieve benchmarks. Next, placement data and progression to higher education. Both of them should be near to 10%. Suppose if there are 100 students coming out of your college, 80% are placed, 15% have gone for higher education, 5% have become entrepreneurs. That means it is an excellent institution. Or even 50-50, it is an excellent institution. In other words, no one is unemployed. No one is sitting at home. That should be the take-home message. So for that, you have to strengthen your training and placement office. You should go for online and off-campus interviews. Similarly, number of PhDs awarded per year. It all depends upon the number of guides. So the benchmark tells you all of you should become PhD, all of you should become PhD guides, all of you should have PhD students, so that PhD production every year keeps on increasing. It should be a perennial ongoing process. Similarly, PG students pass out. That also should be more than 95%. Then regional diversity. It's not in our hands, I agree. But still, if you get more number of students from diverse areas, it indicates the institution is able to attract students. So regional diversity, more than 50% indicates a global or national perception, a national spread. It's not confined to one particular region or one particular city. Suppose if there is a city called X and all the students from that X city only, that indicates that it doesn't have a global spread. So this also could be, it is not in our hands, but you can slowly and steadily ensure that the students from other colleges, other states, etc., opt for your institution. The women diversity. Today, it is a national policy that you should aim at students as many women as possible, at least 50-50%. So reservation, as per government policy, around 50% is must ensure. And facilities for physically challenged, differently abled, but ensure as per a national policy all the facilities. And perception, if you ask 100 staff members at a global level or a state level or at national level or at city level, at least 75% should say, I know this institution. Suppose you will take a survey in Pune, Pimpri, and if I ask 100 professors, 100 employers, and say, do you know how many institutions? In his name, in his list, if DPU institutions do not come, that means our perception is very bad. If all of them take, more than 50%, 70% take, yes, I know DY Patil Institute of Technology, DY Patil Institute of Pharmaceutical Science, DY Patil Institute of Management Studies, it indicates there is perception. All these things are in our hands, and some of them are not totally in our hands, but we can always aim to improve them over the time. So these are called NRF benchmark. Next slide. Similarly, NBA also gives some benchmarks. NAC also gives some benchmarks. I have not given it here because they are all updated from time to time. NAC has benchmarks about 2 years back. NAC changes its benchmarks about 1 year back. Only in the month of December, November, December, they have changed the benchmark once again. And they are going to change the benchmarks in the month of June. So we must be always updating our benchmarks based on the requirement of MBA, based on the requirement of NAC. So we should always copy down, download the updated NBA or NAC benchmark from time to time and include it in our benchmarking and goal setting concept and practice so that we will not be left behind. For example, if NAC says 80% should be the result, earlier benchmark was 60%, and if you are not seeing this 80%, you are losing. So it's always a dynamic process, NBA, NAC, or even QS ranking. So all these benchmarks definitely will help you to score higher and higher. Next slide. Now, in order to achieve these benchmarks, who has to achieve this? How do you achieve this? So you should have an institutional process to achieve these benchmarks, to set these benchmarks. I can say this way, to identify the benchmarks, to make a process for achieving those benchmarks, and ultimately analyze as to whether we have achieved it or not, go for SWOT analysis. We require rules and SOPs. So today I'm giving you some SOPs and rules for all of you to see and ensure that you are following them. Next slide. Number one is we should have rules and SOP for vision, mission, goals, and objectives. What is the role of this SOP? What is the purpose of this SOP? The SOP should say how the vision is formulated, how it is drafted, who has drafted it, what is the basis for it, for having drafted, where it got approved, then what are its salient features, what is its distinctiveness, then how it is to be implemented, how it is to be made known to everybody, dissemination, and then how it should be institutionalized. Look at it. The SOP or the rule should have all these. Then it becomes a 360-degree result-oriented rule and SOP. The vision, for example, if it is a pharmacy college, the vision should speak of pharmacy. Vision should speak of pharmacy. Goals and objectives also should speak of pharmacy and the higher education. Suppose if it's pharmacy, if it's not speaking anything about the pharmacy per se, then it's not a correct vision, goals, or objective. So these rules and SOP should ultimately aim at formulation, who formulates it, who drafts it, who approves it, salient features of it, distinctiveness of it, implementation of it, and institutionalization of it, and how exactly it is disseminated to all the stakeholders. So this is the first rule and first SOP. Next. The next SOP should be on governance. In other words, you should have an SOP rule which says what are the statutory bodies for decision making. Statutory bodies and decision making bodies are the authorities. It could be board of management or executive council or governing council or academic council or finance council, whatever may be the case. So at the institution level, you should know what are the statutory bodies, which is the highest statutory body to lowest statutory body. Then who are the statutory officers who are capable of taking a decision. In many of the institutions, the entire system fails because we don't know what is the governance. So who are the statutory officers? What are their powers, delegated powers, and inherent powers? And what do you mean by directorates? What do you mean by deanery? The third component of the SOP of governance is decentralized administration, participatory management. It is reflected through directorates, cells, committees for implementation of the decisions. Look at it. First two are statutory. The third one is non-statutory. So, good number of cells, directorates, and committees are there in the college which are proactive. Implementation of decisions taken by the first two is very, very easy and timely. Next, to ensure both of them are working in a particular direction, we should have a very good planning, monitoring, and evaluation body which is in charge of strategic planning and review. Then this rule of SOP should also say what is the extent of e-governance, what are the softwares available, hardwares available, and then how exactly the management systems, ERPs, are available in place both for administration, academics, finances, and so on. Then this SOP should also have an organogram, flow of information, powers, hierarchy, delegation of powers, and functions. In other words, Jayraj should report to whom? Who should report to Jayraj? And what is the function of Jayraj? What are the powers of Jayraj? If I know that, it will be easy for me to work. If I know to whom I should approach, and from whom I should take the decision or authority, then my work is easier. And if I know who are working under me, where I can get my work done, then it is easier. In many of the institutions, this hierarchy is not clear. That's why people always escape. The escape starts when once you don't know what is hierarchy, what is delegation of powers and functions. So this is a very, very important SOP. Next. The third SOP, or I have not numbered them. The next SOP is an HR policy SOP. Here, you should have clear-cut component of what are the cadres available, how the recruitment is taken place, what are the service conditions, what that means, what is the minimum service age, maximum age, retirement age, eligibility, and then service rules, leave, etc. Then selection committee for teachers, selection committee for non-teaching faculty. You may say, no sir, management does all. See, management may tell, but ultimately you have to follow a procedure and ultimately put it into practice. What I meant to say is, many times we ignore these steps. That is the reason why we will fail to defend ourselves regarding the HR. Then faculty development policy and practices. For example, how many induction programs, orientation program, faculty development program, a faculty must and should undergo in a given year. If you don't say that, nobody will do it. If you say minimum 2 is a must, without it, we will not get increment, we will not get promotion. People will start doing 4. So what I meant to say is, whenever you have what is called a limitation, whenever you have got a target set, benchmarking is nothing but a target. So you are setting the target for a faculty, and number of publications, number of faculty training programs, number of patents, number of anything you take as a target which is affordable, which is feasible, and which is practicable. Then faculty appraisal policy. For example, ACT has got appraisal mechanism. They have 150 marks. Of them, 30 marks is for head of the department, head of the institution. Rest 120 marks is for the faculty. So if you adopt it, if you run it online, then it is a good policy. Then faculty welfare policy. I don't want to go into the details. Then faculty retention policy, faculty incentive policy. So if you have a comprehensive policy of this nature, it will be very easy for the head of the institution to regulate, control, monitor, and get the work done for the faculty, because the target set, there are rules there. Next slide. Next one is curriculum and co-curriculum policy. In other words, we should know who does the curriculum design and development, who has to implement it, who is authorized to review it, who is authorized to innovate it, who is authorized to find out its relevance, and who does need-based analysis, who does gap analysis, who does POCO mapping, who does POCO attainment, and who frames validated course, who identifies add-on course, who identifies online course, to whom and when and how. Many students want to study some online programs, but they don't know where they are available and why they should study it. So if you have a policy, for example, first year MBA student must and should complete this particular add-on course available on UGC portal or NPTEL portal or Coursera portal, then the student will voluntarily go and take it, because you are directing them. That is the reason why, and what type of validated course one should take, what type of programs one should take, and when do you suggest a revision. So this is based on curriculum and co-curriculum policy. Next slide. The next SOP is on teaching learning policy, wherein you have to ensure that all the teachers are trained on student-centric methodology, namely experimental, experiential, participatory, fieldwork, project, internship, evidence-based, patient-centric. And you should also encourage teachers to go for teaching innovations, either through online or offline or any other modes or blended mode. And for that, what workshops you should conduct, what type of gadgets or easy tools you should get, you should make a list. Keeps on enhancing. What was not available 10 years back is available today. For example, virtual reality, augmented reality, data science, artificial intelligence, they were not at all there. But today, all of them are available. So our teaching learning keeps on enhancing with the help of these gadgets. We are using only PPT. Today we are not using only PPT. We are going for video LMS and YouTube channels and blended mode and so on and so forth. So you should have a clear-cut policy. Last year, what was the policy? This year, what is going to be the policy? What is the validation? Do you have your community radio? Do you have a dedicated LMS? Do you have a dedicated YouTube channel? And do you have a very good dedicated LMS where students can download, train teachers at regular intervals? Next slide. Examination policy. Every teacher in the beginning of the year should be trained about internal assessment methods. For how much? They should also train about semester end exams or annual end examinations for university. And how the question paper set based on Bloom's taxonomy. So this is a very, very important step. So what is the take-home message of this? Teachers must be trained on examination policy. Teachers must be trained on setting up question paper. Teachers will be trained on evaluation methods. And nowadays, open book system may come in another year or two. Open based system may come. Assessment based method may come. Case based methods may come. Project based methods may come. So you should train your teachers accordingly. Similarly, innovations in examinations, reforms in examination, whether it's a question paper or evaluation or schemes, and review of results and performance analysis. How many FAT classes, how many ranks, that will give you an edge as to whether your teaching learning methodology is good or bad. And any other additional examination like class test, unit test, MCQ test, etc. can be done in this policy. Next slide. The next is research promotion policy. In this research promotion policy, you should say how you are going to promote, what are the facilities and support that you are giving for research, which are the thrust areas of your college. So what happens? Many people keep on doing research. If I ask you thrust area, they don't know what is the thrust area. And you should always take thrust areas which are relevant, which are in currency, which are of recent advances. Then the research papers gets quoted and citation index increases and H index increases. Then advanced research laboratory, the befitting to whatever the faculty you have, whether it's science or arts or management, etc., befitting to that particular faculty, you have advanced research laboratory. Then center of excellence. Suppose if it is an engineering college is known by the good number of centers of excellence. Similarly, management college should also have good number of center for excellence. Pharmacy college should also have good number of center of excellence. So more than our center of excellences, it indicates you have got good advanced research facility. That means good publications. That means applied and translational research. So these are all corollaries. Then incentives. Whatever incentives you give to the faculty members, duty leave, PADA, seed money, or publication charge, or article posting charge, or anything else. Similarly, funding. How do you mobilize internal funding, external funding for research, intramural as well as extramural? And you have to find out and appoint a team to only go in search of the funding agencies. Nowadays, CSR and ISR are compulsory components of industry. 5% of their profit should be invested in research and extension. So you have to catch hold of certain industries where they can give funds for your institution, either for research or for center of excellence or for curriculum design development. You are not tapped this particular source. So many people depend only on the government source, but it's the difficult to get government funds only always. So you should go for industry source. Then publication and bibliometrics, translational research, IPR, intellectual property right. People should know what is patent, what is product patent, process patent, design patent, copyrights, and so on. Then, as per MHRD nowadays, ICC is compulsory. Institutional Innovative Council, they have to conduct good number of programs and make students to be innovative. And there is a star system that is given by the Minister of MHRD or nowadays MOE. So suppose if your college has got good number of 3 years back it was got only 1 star, but today it has got 4.5 star. What does it indicate? Over the last 3 years, DPU, ICC has definitely gone leaps and bounds. Similar incubation center. Many people think ICC and incubation center one and the same. No, they are not. So you have to again distinction. What is ICC? What is incubation center? And then can an institution come out with a journal of its own? It is registered under DOAJ and it has got a ISSN number and so on. So if you have all these as a policy, you have to implement and achieve. Next slide. Next is collaboration. And intra-institutional collaborations within your own are not accepted today. So you should have collaborations with other agencies. For example, your management college with another management college, your engineering college with another management engineering college, and so on. For what purpose? For academic purpose, research purpose, sharing of facilities, sharing and giving support to each other, faculty-student exchange, winning programs, conducting extension outreach activity for internship, for apprenticeship, and for consultancy and expertise, revenue sharing policy. And in NBA, academy industry interface has got 100 marks. And if you don't have a policy of that, you will not be able to achieve those marks. So professor of practice, now UEC has introduced an avenue where industry experts can become professors. We call it professor of practice. And they can become co-guides. They can be your resource persons. They can be professor emeritus, visiting professors, as well as they can give guest lectures, conduct workshops, and so on. So this particular component will ultimately expose the institution towards external agents. External world. So minimum at least 5 new MOUs should come out every year, and at least around 25 to 30 MOUs proactive every year. Next slide. It is not administration policy, it's academic administration policy. Admission administration policy. Please read it as admission policy. So the admission policy is, you should all know what is eligibility, who fixes the eligibility, what regulations say about it, method of admission, entrance test, and schedule of entrance test, then schedule of admission, publicity and brochure, fee structure, student amenities and facilities. Many of the institutions, I have seen faculty member do not know anything about it because they think it is a management perspective. No doubt management is doing its best, but each teacher is an ambassador. Every student is an ambassador. And you remember one thing, it's through students' word of mouth, parents' word of mouth, your college is known in the public. And if it's a good publicity, you get good students. If it's a bad publicity, you will not get students. So my request to all of you is, you should have a robust admission policy involving all the students and the faculty in dissemination of your admission policy through a very vibrant, proactive web page, brochures, conducting good number of exhibitions, expos. You'll be able to give wide publicity. So you should not leave any store unturned to ensure that your college is known by word of mouth in the surroundings, states, as well as in neighborhood. Next slide. Career guidance. Today, for a student to choose your institution, they choose a college where there is very good placement and very good career guidance. Even if fee is higher, they take a college where there is a good placement. So you should have a policy, rule and policy on career guidance. It starts with appointment of office of training and placement office, appointing an officer or directorate, starts with registration, inspiration, motivation, get lectures and case studies, CV preparation, mock interviews, on-campus, off-campus recruitment procedures, and ultimately success stories, progress to higher education and its data, then entrepreneurship, a vibrant entrepreneurship development cell. So when you have rules and regulations and say that this is the minimum work that you should do, and it is entrusted to XYZ, and this will conduct minimum 5 workshops, 10 get lectures, etc., definitely you are going to achieve the target based on the benchmark. So a rule on this is a must. Next. Library and learning resource policy. You should have a vibrant library policy, which ultimately speaks of e-library, books and journals, both the print as well as the e-type, and then good number of databases, then reading room facilities, and anytime, anywhere, opaque facilities, so that student can retrieve any information. And we should also go for tracking of the students' utilization of the library. Nowadays, since every student has got a soft mobile smart phone, will not come to library at all. But he may or may not come to library, but you should force him to use the facilities available in the library online. So we should have a policy on it. Next slide. So IT policy. We should keep on reviewing this IT policy, because IT sector is one which is getting updated and which is getting on a very fast basis. What is relevant yesterday is not relevant today. Hence, IT policy must and should be very, very robust and dynamic. You should speak of hardware, you should speak of software, you should speak of e-governance, networking, LAN or WAN, internet connectivity. For example, once upon a time, 10 Mbps was 100 Mbps was enough. Today, 1 GB is not enough. And speed, 2 GB, 2G was enough. Today, it's 5G, 6G. In other words, regarding Wi-Fi, PACS, HIMS, LMS, we should, suppose if you have got LMS which is 10 years old, but nobody will accept it. Similarly, financial management system, similarly, learning management system, or institutional management system, or CCTV surveillance, cloud computing, data storage, etc. So we should have a very, very vibrant IT policy, and a person to dedicatedly looking to it, and you will be giving all the facilities that are required for an institution. Because nowadays, entire institution has become paperless. Every institution is becoming online and offline, a blended mode. Hence, IT policy is a very, very important policy for the betterment of an institution. Next slide. Alumni policy. You should ensure that every institution has got an alumni association which is registered. They are registered office. Then their office bearers. And should ensure that they conduct at least 2 meetings in a year, and conduct at least 10 to 15 contributory workshops, where either to get lectures or workshops, or giving donation of books or any material, or the establishment of center of excellence. You should keep on identifying it. So alumni policy. Nowadays, government may say you should get 15 to 20% of your income from alumni. A day may come wherein, just like in foreign countries, alumni only will be running the institutions. So, if not today, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, this particular policy is going to come. So today only, we should ultimately make alumni vibrant. Next. Environment policy. Since now government is wastewater, sewage treatment plants, and the disposal of waste, then reduce, reuse, and recycle. All these policies must and should be in place with all auditory mechanisms. For example, energy audit, environment audit, air quality audit, water quality audit, wastewater management, vermicomposting. You quote anything, there is audit mechanism for it, and those audits must be always viable, and it should be in force. Many times we have taken it in 2020, the data lapse, we don't renew it. So my request is, if you have an environmental policy, a dedicated person will not be missing it. Next slide. The last one is quality policy. And this quality policy, naturally, it includes the ensuring the drafting of all the SOPs I have told you just now, identifying the benchmark internally, external, and setting the benchmarks for next year. So the strategic planning of an institution is based on benchmark and gap analysis. It's not just come chalawa running the institution. Every year you should say, what are the new benchmarks? What are the benchmarks given by quality agencies like NAC or NRF or NBA or any other agency, and benchmark developed by us? To what extent? For example, the benchmark for a United Society 5 years back was, one day or the other you should become a state university. And today is getting realized. If the benchmark was not to be there, you would not have achieved it. So my point is to highlight this particular point is, unless you dream of, visualize it, implement it, it will not be possible to achieve anything. Otherwise, it's just like 9 to 5 concept, daily wage concept. We come and go, institution just runs on its own, it becomes an ordinary institution. It will not become a quality institution. Next slide. So quality policy must. See this quality, previous slide. In this quality policy, we should go for the benchmarking, internal and external, drafting of all SOPs I have told you. Even if you have got already SOPs in place, modify them, retune them, fine tune them to the relevance today. Many times what happens, these SOPs are done 10 years back and some of them have become obsolete. Some of them require fine tuning. So every year, the duty of the quality cell is update your rules and standard operating procedures. I've told you only the minimum number, but you can take the maximum number as you please. Then, once you do it, conduct workshops for faculty regarding the benchmark set, and then conduct workshops for faculty on the aspects that I've told just now. Then, once in a year, go for internal audit. Internal audit, department wise, then institution wise. And once in 2 years, must and should external audit. That will give you an idea as to where you stand. And it will give an idea for midterm correction. This is what is called quality policy. And remember, the NAC as well as NBA are changing the procedures wherein lot of emphasis is given only to outcome and impact, not to systems and processes. As of today, NAC was giving more than 70% emphasis to the input, system and process, not out. Only 30% to 40% was output. But the data say, document says 100% it will be on outcome and impact basis. Then one more important component of policy is data. Many times the data that we give for NAC is different, for NMC, for the ACT is different, for AISHE is different, for Savitri University is different. Why it happens? Because we don't have a standard grid for data. So the standard grid for data must be same, whether it is Savitri University or ACT or Government of India or Government of Maharashtra or NAC or NRF and so on. What are they? Year of establishment, name of the institution, number of faculty with PhD, number of students, first year, second year, third year, fourth year. See, these data should not vary. That's why from June onwards, there is likelihood of one nation, one data. 90% of the assessment will be through that particular data. Hence, you must keep your website very vibrant, data totally dynamic, updated, year-wise basis. Many times we start working out this data whenever they call for the data. When it is inevitable that we should submit a data year-wise, why can't we start in the beginning of the academic year itself? What was the data to be given for last year? And last minute, what happens? Some clerk gives some data and we send it. Only to realize that that particular data is not correct, and we can't rectify it later. We say chalne do, jane do. But henceforth, from 24-25 onwards, there's no scope for it, because there will be one single nation, or one nation, one data policy. So there should be this quality policy. I'm telling you is it's very, very important for data management of the institution. Even at midnight, 12 o'clock, if I ask you what is the number of staff members, it should be same. Whether I ask my peon, whether I ask a staff member, whether I ask a principal, whether I ask the administrator, everyone should say number is 42. If it varies from 35 to 40, 50, etc., that means there is no uniformity. At least there should be clarity at who is a teacher, who is not a teacher, who is a student, who is not a student, how many departments. So this is a very, very important point for audit, whether it is external or external. Next slide. So who has to do all this? The question. So I suggest we should come out with around 7 cells. If you already having it, fine. Otherwise, we should have curriculum and co-curriculum cell, an academic cell, research and development cell, library resource and IT cell, student support cell, governance cell, and quality assurance cell. So whatever the SOPs just now I told you, come under these 7. Give them the responsibility. And let these committees not only draft the rules and regulations and SOPs, but also should come out with internal benchmarking and external benchmarking. For that, they can conduct brainstorming session amongst themselves, amongst the staff members, interinstitutional. So when they conduct brainstorming sessions, they will be trying to know what is there as recent advance. By studying the SSRs or reports of neighborhood colleges and their websites, we will be coming to know how exactly that institution is very better or worst. So you can change your benchmark. For example, you have taken last year, you have taken ISC Bangalore as benchmark. This year, ISC Bangalore has not done well. IIT Madras has done well. So you switch over to. So this benchmarking and goal setting and data management and perspective planning are all dynamic processes. But unfortunately, we have taken them as static processes. So you should have at least 7 coordinators under the principal or the director. You can call them as directorates or cells. And they can have some committee systems. A webinar, I will be giving you a structure of the committees, minimum committees that are required to ensure that they answer all the questions of NBA also. Next slide. So this is how things ultimately go on. With this, I've given you an idea as to how exactly the auditing process. But many people think auditing process is a beginning and end by itself. Remember, auditing process is not the beginning. The beginning is benchmarking, goal setting, rules, SOPs, then documentation, and then this one. So I repeat, it starts with benchmarking, goal setting, and then making people to work accordingly through workshops and seminars, symposia, and regular meetings and review, and then go for audit, internal as well as external. What we do is we take audit as a beginning itself. What does it happen? Whatever is done, it is given. So we don't make them to work further. Here audit is become routine. जो हुआ है उसको हम मापना चाहते हैं. Then what is the fun of it? We are not set the goal. If you have set the goal, we can say whether we achieve the goal or not. Suppose we want to introduce 4 new subjects. We are able to introduce only 3. Good. But one you are not able to. If you find out why, you will get the answer. Suppose if the target is 4, you are not introduced, you are not even a single one. Then there is something serious. And the admission is less than 50%. Result is less than 50%. So it goes for stock analysis. You go for feedback analysis. And I have taken only performance appraisal in this analysis. In the next workshop, I will be telling you what all the different type of analysis you take, like need-based analysis, gap analysis, feedback analysis, 360 feedback analysis, and so on and so forth. This is what I wanted to tell you, that before you start any audit, I wish it should not be a ritual. It should be a very vibrant, proactive, methodical process. And you should start with planning, you should start with benchmarking, start with goal setting, followed by entrusting the responsibility to concern, fine-tune the rules and SOPs, conduct the workshops to the relevant people, give them the timeline that you should achieve within 6 months or 8 months, and go for periodic review. And by the end of the year, AAA, academic administrative audit, internal. Once in a year, you can go for external also. Many times, many people do not depend upon internal. They internal followed by external. Only localites you can take. Once in 2 years, you can take unknown people, so that you get a fresh idea, unbiased ideas. So why you go for external audit is we want to get an unbiased idea. If you go for internal audit and external audit only by known people, you get a biased idea. I will not be writing the exact thing as to what is the record of the institution. This is what I wanted to say today. And now we will go for question answer session. And then we will plan for the next workshop. Over to Dr. Meghna and all other participants. Any questions, clarifications? Over to you. The close model.
Thank you for the insights, sir. And it's been really helpful. Any questions, anyone? Anything which is not, anyone wants to make it clear?
Provided they have joined the session and listen to me. Many times what happens in these online program, there is always a possibility that people switch on and ultimately do something else.
Kutkoti ma'am has a question.
Yeah?
Kutkoti ma'am has a question.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, Kutkoti madam.
Yes, a very good afternoon, sir. So we have our administrative audit. Now my question is, this year we have done. So for the next year's audit, shall we wait for December, sir, till we get the new format, or we should continue with the existing format?
Let me tell you, irrespective of the type of the audits, formats, etc., the basics do not change. For example, number of programs, intake, enrollment, number of teachers with PhD, without PhD, publications, blah, 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 blah. Any type of format, this will not change. We call them as core assessment, core areas of
Right,
assessment.
sir.
So we should not
Yes, sir.
postpone the core area of assessment, whether there is NAC or no NAC, whether there is NRF or no NRF. The process should go on because they are inherent principles for any audit. They are the basis. So you don't wait till the new procedure comes. With existing procedure,
Yes, sir.
I told you no. Forget the procedure to start with. For audit purpose, what you should do is first benchmarking, goal setting exercise as a must. Then sensitization awareness of the existing faculty is a must. Then give them responsibility to fine tune your SOPs and rule is a must. Then you go for give a target of 6 months to them. Then after 6 months you go for audit. I should at least know what I should do now before I am audited. नहीं तो मैं इतना किया हूँ, all ठीक है, it Jayraj done satisfactory. So it has become a ritualistic audit. I don't want that type of audit to take place. Only Jayraj should know target given was 10, he has achieved 7. Even 3 is in the point. So that means I am also aware that I have not reached the target, but I am nearer to the target. I am going to reach it or not. And let me tell the staff members who are joined here. Whatever I told you today, you may think that it is helpful only for DPU or any other institution. No. 90% of what I have told you is beneficial to you. It will enhance your biodata. Whether you are in this college or some other college, wherever you go, you will carry this message. 90% of what I have told is in special reference to the individual, the departments. So it indicates individual growth, departmental growth, institutional growth. Right? Hope I have answered your question, Dr. Mansi.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, good afternoon. I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Sir, if I have understood correct, you said that for drafting policies, we need SOPs. Am I right, sir?
See, SOPs are nothing but policies. See, in other words, what to do, how to do, when to do. When you don't know that, what is that going to do?
You're right. That answers my question, sir. Thank you, sir.
See, I always say, when I want to do something, what does the rule say? What are the SOPs say? What is the target set?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Suppose the target says 5 years में एक publication, you reach the target. But is it a national target? No. You got
Correct.
the point now? So when you set the targets, it should be based on national perspectives,
Mhm.
international perspectives.
Correct. Thank you, sir.
I mean, you should not become contented with limited things.
Right.
Ah,
Right.
yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
sir, just I wanted to ask regarding the internal and external audit you said. So,
Yeah.
in that case, for the internal audit, so can we have the inter-institutional members, sir, or it should be within our college only?
See, I tell you one thing. Uh, if you consider entire developer Unitech society as an institution, any members you take ultimately, see, internal again becomes institutional internal and entire management internal. So management college, you have pharmacy college, you can take staff members of your own college and becomes institutional internal. If you take internal from management college or art sciences college, etc., it again internal only, but it is outside institution, but within the management.
Okay.
There is no hard and fast rule for it. If I'm the case, I go first for internal within college. Then I go for a team from the management, all the institutions of the college. Then third, I would like to invite from outside.
Okay, as a supporting members.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, thank you so much for this wonderful session. It was really thought-provoking and even provided grassroots understanding of this subject, sir. I have a question related to that institutional distinctiveness, sir.
Yeah.
Criteria 7 of NAC, sir. Yes, sir.
Today I did not touch about best practice and the institutional distinctness for simple reason. Today I wanted to make clear what first is basics. First is preparation of the cake. I have not touched upon icing the cake. The distinctness and best practices become icing the cake. So I'll take it in the next workshop.
Okay, sir.
See,
Okay.
once I told you two things today: benchmarking and goal setting. If you have identified an institution which has got very good practices, etc., automatically your best practice, true best practice will come. And based on, see, distinctness comes not overnight. Based on the outcome of your best practice, based on the achievement of your benchmarks, based on your center of excellence, the distinctness comes. Without these things, there cannot be any distinctness. So what do you actually mean by thoda hatke? Over and above the minimum requirement. जब तक को मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है तो डिस्टिंक्टिव्स का सवाल ही नहीं उठता है ना
Got it, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
any other questions from engineering college? Anyone? Okay, quoted from engineering college.
So there is one question from DYPIT, how to measure policy is working or not, when to update a policy?
So I tell you, you have a policy of recruitment where the qualification for staff member is MTech, so 12 years old. Whereas the ACT today says you should be PhD with 5 years experience for fresh recruitment. I'm just giving you an example. In other words, whatever is the update by the statutory bodies, that should be present in the SOPs. I will give one more example. Earlier, financial incentive given to a staff member is enough. Even 1 rupee is enough. But latest managed by NAC format says it should be minimum 5,000 rupees per year. You got the point now? Our earlier SOP for teacher incentive said any amount you give will qualify for teacher incentive. The latest SOP of NAC says that should be minimum 5,000 rupees. So if you don't modify your SOP to minimum 5,000 rupees, whatever you do is a waste. You are not achieving the benchmark. I've given only one example. Similarly, one more example I will give you. Extension activity. Earlier, we used to take maybe 6 hours to 8 hours of extension activity. Latest SOP says extension activity minimum 1 year, only 1 day will not be taken. What does it mean? It will be more than 1 day. Are you following my point, Dr. Meghna? When you say updating the SOP means this, keeping the national, international, global or any perspectives in view, you have to update our SOP. For example, 1:15 is the ratio given by NRF for ACT institutions, 1:20 for others. Tomorrow they may say 1:12. For a NMC it is 1:8. For DCA it is 1:8. So until as I know that, without knowing that I will put 1:15, I will be going for a wrong target, wrong benchmark. So benchmarking is, it's just like, for example, the respiration, saturation is 99%. Up to 95 is okay. 94 is okay. 92 is alarming. 90 and above, go to the doctor. That is what we followed during Corona. That is a benchmark. Right? Above 94, don't be panic. 92 also don't be panic. Only it becomes less than 90, go. That's why one pulse oximeter saved hundreds of lives and also unnecessary mad rush to hospitals. Target. So benchmark for blood pressure 120 by 80, 130 by 80. Rush to doctor. That's benchmark. So these benchmarks are not permanent. They keep on changing. And this year, the NAC is likely to come out with different benchmarks for different institutions. Because they have come out with a policy that one size fits all is not correct policy. For rural institutions separate, for research, for example, if you declare yours as a teaching institute, then they may say publications can be even once in 5 years also one is maybe enough. If you consider yourself as a research institute, a PG institute, 1:1 is a must. So they are likely to come out with benchmarks. So wait for those benchmarks. But whatever may be, what I mean to say is, whatever is already minimum will be always there. Alva, are you following my argument?
Yes, sir.
This bench, many times we have SOPs and rules, but they don't have benchmarks there. That's why they are failed. They have become ritualistic. Benchmarks leads to goal setting leads to plan of action leads to activity leads to product leads to outcome and output leads to impact. This is a corollary, a sequence. You give a target, people will do. Don't give a target, nobody will do. Any other questions?
So there's one more question. Do we first complete SOPs and then conduct audit, or we complete it simultaneously?
So I tell you, to do anything, many times people say, by whatever means you get, the result is good. But I don't believe that policy. How you got this also is very important. What is your strategy also is very important. Did you get it the hook or crook, or you need to follow a proper policy to achieve it? So I always require the standard, updated, relevant, recent SOPs based on which the activity is done and then the audit. But if you don't have it, with the existing methodology, you complete the audit, but for next methodology, at least to follow the procedure. Don't postpone the audit just because you don't have. You did not postpone them because you don't have the SOPs and all. I told you an ideal situation. Ideal situation given a year. So, for example, 24, 25 you are starting. So you have got 3 months time. In 3 months time, go for the constitution of cells, give the responsibilities, constitute the committees, give them the target of goal setting and benchmarking, Then by June, July, train all the faculty, then give them time. By next May, audit accordingly. The existing year 23-24 completed based on old method. Right? As I went to Mahe, and Mahe got 3.32 in the last cycle. I asked them, you are an institution of eminence out of 30 institutions in India. Why your score is 3.32? We don't bother. For us, A grade is enough. They did not compare that because their benchmark was totally different. They did not take A++ as their benchmark. Please understand. Their benchmark was Institution of Excellence and Eminence, Government of India, out of 30. You got the point now? This year also, they got only 3.65. They said they were very happy. Because their benchmark is now to become a global institution. For them, NAC, any grade is mandatory. Their benchmark is not. And the benchmark is totally different. So if you have routine things as benchmarks, etc., you'll never excel. Think out of the box. Then only you achieve. Right? For example, if you take my Institute of Technology, there are 18 programs which are not heard of in many of the engineering colleges. Our standard 8 or 9 bhi hai. But minimum 18 to 20 hai. And if you look at them, some of them do not, many of the engineering colleges have not even heard of those terminologies. That's the way they go for benchmark. They've got 30 Center of Excellences. Center of Excellence today will become a department after 3 years. That's how they go for benchmarking. A new area, Center of Excellence. After 5 years, it becomes a new department, a new program. Look at the way they develop. So it's not an overnight phenomenon for Maye and some other institutions to grow. They think totally out of the box and achieve. I gave only 2 examples. They didn't take A++ as their benchmark. You got it, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Any other question, anyone? Sir, before next meeting, we'll complete our homework, whatever you have asked us to do,
Yes.
and then we'll fix up the second date.
See, whatever is given, the SOPs and rules are minimum. You can add anything you like. And
Sir.
there can be rules within the rules. I given because some people say we have got 50 SOPs. They're all scattered. I have tried to put them under one basket so that you can put sub-files into it.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sure. So we'll do it.
So
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so this is the basic. Then work out the benchmarks also.
Sure, sir. We'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Vinod Thakur.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you,
So
sir.
now you have come out
Thank
with
you,
the-
sir. Thank you. Actually, I am engaged with sir also parallelly in other things. Sir.
Okay. See, my point here is, since you are becoming university now, this is the right time for you to go for a goal setting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, now all the days you are in institution. Now you are in university. This
Yes,
is the right time for you next 3 months. Set what type of university you want.
Yes, sir.
Is it based on research? Is it based on teaching? Is it based on policy? Placement? You decide all these aspects. Accordingly, you go for.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
You choose which, whether you would like to go to Bombay via old Madras, old highway or through express highway.
Yes, sir.
Like that, you have to decide. That is benchmark.
Yes,
Deciding the route.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Ranjit. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm fine, sir.
Thank you. Nice meeting all of you virtually. I will come and meet you all physically also. Okay.
Thanks for the guidance and thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
I really enjoyed. It was homecoming for me. To be with DPMs always, it gives, I should say, I'm very happy and proud to be associated with all of you. I really enjoy. Okay.
Same with us also, sir. Same with us. It's really a pleasure listening to you always, sir.
A new journey
See,
starting from your blessings, sir.
see, I tell you, though it was a workshop today, since last 3 days, I prepared this PPT fresh. I will never use any old PPT anyway. Again, I set a goal for myself. I should not again follow an old trend. I should go for a new trend. Of course, the idea is same, but put it in a different perspective. Okay, thank you very much. Next time we will
Thank
meet
you.
physically
Thank you,
on
sir.
the workout.
Thank you.
We can take,
Yeah.
for me, next workshop, every institution should come out with benchmarks and goal setting.
Definitely, sir. We'll do
Okay.
that.
Then
Yes.
we'll have a very vibrant workshop.
Definitely, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.